Minta maaf sebab saya tengah kena ulcer dekat lidah ni, kurang minum air. Biasalah standard kalau bulan puasa. So saya pelat sikit pada hari ni, seolah-olah nampak macam saya tengah kemam gula-gula, tapi tak, bukan saya bukan kemam gula-gula. Lidah saya jadi keras sikit sebelah sini. Kena ulcer. Alright. Kena ada disclaimer sekejap sebab because I'm recording the video, then I will upload in the YouTube, and I'm afraid that people thought I'm eating while teaching you guys, so that's not the case. Anyway, welcome class to physics DF 1113. Let me introduce myself, and my name is Saiful Kamaluddin bin Muzakir. I'm saya tak keluar ni. Oh, no wonder. Alright. So I'm an associate professor from the Faculty of Industrial Sciences and Technology, basically your neighbor. You guys are from Diploma of Chemical Engineering, and you are in your second semester? Third semester dah? Semester keberapa? Second semester, that's second semester. Alright. So before this class, I went to another class. I have a class before from 9 to 10 a.m. I was teaching quantum physics. So you heard this jargon many times in television or in Netflix or in cinema, the quantum word. What does it mean by quantum? Why do we have quantum physics, and why do we have this physics that you are learning right now? What are the differences between them? So the physics that you are learning right now in GF 1113 is known as classical physics. Physics that we use to explain bulk materials. What is bulk materials? Materials that we could see using our naked eye. For example, your friend, your laptop, your mom, your phone, your cat, your pebbles, your shoes, car, train, plane, bomb, whatsoever. Anything that you could see using your naked eye known as bulk materials, and they can be explained by classical physics. The movement of car, movement of a cat, the acceleration of planet, the acceleration of a car, the momentum of collision, the weight of your belly, what else? The force you are giving to your stomach at 4 p.m. Try to cover your hunger. All of that can be explained using classical physics. Or at least you have learned this before during your SPM. You could explain the movement, the acceleration, the weight using classical physics. But quantum physics is specifically to be used to explain the behavior of materials or particles that we can see by our naked eye. For example, hantu, no, not hantu, not shaitan, but example, proton, electron, and neutrons. They exist, but we cannot see them. They move, but we cannot see the movement. So the movement of these small particles can be explained only using quantum physics. And the concept is very different. Luckily, you guys are now taking diploma in mechanical engineering and not in science and technology, because students in science and technology, for example, students from material technology, they have to learn this quantum physics. So anyway, we focus on our job scope today. We will discuss only about things that we could observe using our naked eye. So the session will be for today is 2 hours. So every Tuesday, we have class 9 to 11, and we have another class in Thursday. I cannot remember the time, maybe 9 to 10 as well. I think so, or 10 to 11. I cannot remember. But anyway, I will announce in the WhatsApp group. Yeah? If someone is trying to join us, please, and I haven't allowed them, please let me know. Yeah. So today we will try to cover these three subtopics: the unit, dimension, and a little bit of introduction about physics. And in our next session, for one more session, we try to cover the unit conversion. We try to convert each physics unit to another each physics unit. We will try to do analysis and practice of few examples during Thursday. And this is our assessment strategy. We have 15% for 4 quizzes. 4 quizzes which will give you 15% of 10 marks, test 20%, assignment 25%, and final exam 40%. Please try to get full mark for quizzes and assignments. So at least if you have full mark for quizzes and assignment, you already have 40% in your hand, and you already considered as pass for this subject. So another 60% comes from test and final exam. So if you could get only 50% for final exam, you get 20. 50% for test, you get another 10. You have 30% in your hand, plus 40% free marks from, not free marks. If you could secure from assignment and quizzes, in total, you already have 70% for your total marks in physics. So that is B plus. It's a B plus. To get B plus is not impossible. It's possible to get B plus. Okay. So, oops. Well, I want to know my students. So please, can you take up your smartphones and try to scan? If you cannot scan, try to use that link and try to answer the survey. It's only 8 questions, simple, very simple question. I want to know about a little bit about yourself, whether you have physics background or not. Okay, I give you 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes for this. Again, it's an additional about myself. I'm from, my hometown is Muar Johor. I'm from Johor, Muar, to be specific. And most of my life, I stayed in Malacca, ICRO. I was school in Malacca, somewhere in ICRO. I get my first degree in physics from the University Kebangsaan Malaysia. That was my first degree. My second degree was in nuclear science. I learned nuclear science for my master degree, also in University Kebangsaan Malaysia. And for my PhD, I get my PhD from UMP in advanced materials. So I learned both classical and quantum physics at the same time. Because nuclear science cannot be explained using classical physics, we need to learn the quantum mechanics. Okay, 1 more minute. Let me know if you need extra time. Let me know. So the attendance, your attendance will be taken automatically. Your presence will be taken automatically by the extension of this Google Meet. So if you don't understand certain jargon that I mentioned during this class, if you could see on your top right-hand corner of your Google Meet, there's an icon that looks like Ultraman star, like this. You could click that. That is Gemini AI. And you could ask the Gemini AI whatever you want to know. If you find jargons, for example, quantum physics, you can ask Gemini, what is quantum physics? So Gemini will tell you very briefly what is the jargon means. What does the jargon means? So you could use the Gemini AI as well. Semudah kan? Okay, good. Dah, ada kalau yang perlukan masa lebih, beritahu saya. Saya dah record belum tadi? I think I have recorded the session kan? Oh, I haven't recorded the session. Oh, tak apa. Alright. Tak apa, belum start banyak pun. Okay, we continue. So these are the learning outcomes for UBF 3213. So by the end of this chapter, you should be able to explain solutions of any related problems using the correct principles and laws. You will learn so many principles and law of physics, and focusing on correct SI unit. Maybe some of you have learned physics before. We have certain, of course, there are many units. For example, for length, the length of your cup. Some of you might use meter. We also can use inches, we can use centimeter, we can use foot, we can use acre, we can use hectares. What else? We use so many units of length. But to make things easier, we should focus only on one specific unit, which is SI unit. For example, for length, it has been standardized worldwide. We should use meter for any length. We just need to include some prefixes and some symbol, whether it's, yes, it is meter, but at what scale? Times to the power of what scale? Later we will discuss about the SI unit and also the significant figure. This is course outcome number 1. Course outcome number 2, you should be able to analyze concepts. Okay, analyze physical concepts and theories learned to solve problems covered in the syllabus, especially applying dimensional analysis and unit conversion. We need to analyze the dimension, the length, the mass, the time. They have specific dimension. Length is meter, time we in the SI unit we use second, and mass we use kilograms, not grams but kilogram, not pound, not ounce. Right. So we will have 2 sessions for this week. And session number 1 is today. We have 2 hours of lecture. We will learn about standard of length, mass, and time. This 3 dimension is very important for engineering students. We have dimension of length, whether it is width, length. They are both known as length, panjang. Sama ada dia lebar atau panjang, dulunya kita panggil sebagai panjang, or length. And the symbol is L. The dimension is length. So about our mass, the dimension is mass, the unit is in kilogram. Time, the dimension is T. Time, the SI unit is second. Not hour, but second. Then we will look into base and derived quantities. What are they? Never mind. If you don't know about this yet, never mind. We'll learn later. Scientific notation, prefixes from, nanometer, gigameter, picometer, centimeter, so many meters, or even extra-meter. These are known as prefixes. We will learn how to use them correctly. And there are some interactive examples and practices. And before we jump into session 2 on Thursday. Now we look at the physics and physical quantities. What is physics? Physics is the study of matter, energy, and their interaction of energy and matter. It involves measuring natural phenomena to understand how the universe behaves. Measuring natural phenomena. What are the examples? Moving grass, moving wind, moving air. Measure the velocity. Even during if you are heading to Kuantan, there are some spot nearby. They have this very red flag area where you cannot drive exceed 80 km/h, or else you will get caught by the speed trap. So people or policemen are measuring your speed. If you exceed this speed, you will get ticket. So it's always about measuring phenomena in our surroundings. What are the phenomena? Measuring the force given to push something. Measuring the temperature of the hot coffee by your cuckoo Kuku dengan kopi biasa kita nak buat hot coffee, suhu air dia tak sampai 100 darjah Celsius. Jadi sampai 90 darjah Celsius saja. Or even you can go hotter, you can just adjust the settings. If you use the steel cerik, you cannot adjust the temperature of the water. It will go 160 degrees. So it's about, in our daily life, it's about measuring everything. Measuring the amount of sugar you want to put in your coffee, counting money in your wallet. It's measurements. You are measuring something. Temperature, amount of money, measuring the amount of light, which the unit is candela or lux. What else? Measuring the temperature of head. You feel uneasy today. You feel like you're going to have any fever. Measuring your temperature using the back of a hand. We are about to measure everything in our daily life. Huh? So it's all about physics. Physics is about measuring natural phenomena. So how about physical quantity? Of course, when we measure something, we have certain quantity that we want to measure. If we want to measure light, we can use centimeter. If we want to measure light, we use candela or lux. If we want to measure our weight, we cannot use meter unit, but of course we will use kilogram unit. So different measurement, we need to use different physical quantity, and they have specific SI unit. What is a unit? The standard unit for specific measurement that should be used whole wide world. For example, like this, okay? Physical quantity. The length. Length is a dimension. What is the magnitude of the length? It's about 5.2. That is the magnitude. What about the unit? Meter. That is standard unit for length. The magnitude is 5.2. The unit is meter. Now, what I also did mention about base quantities and derived quantities. What does it mean by base quantity over here? Base quantity are fundamental quantities that cannot be defined in terms of other quantities. For example, length. Length diperbuat dari apa? What gives us length? Can length exist by mass times time? No. Mass is kilogram. Time is second. Kilogram times second. We cannot get length. Length is length. It's base quantity, the basic building block. Base quantity. Length. Meter. How about mass? Mass is solidly basic quantity. Unit is kilogram. It doesn't being derived by some other quantity. Same goes for time. The time that you have in your that your watches to tell you, it is base quantity. But how about derived quantity? Derived quantity can be calculated based from combination of few base quantity. For example, velocity or the speed of your car. The speed of your car, the one that you have dial, you have the odometer on your dashboard, the odometer, the one that has moving needle or moving indicator, that one is odometer. It tells us about velocity. Velocity, the unit at the odometer is kilometer per hour. Now look at kilometer. Kilometer is length. Hour is time. Kilometer per hour means length over time. So length over time equivalent to velocity. So velocity is a derived quantity. It comes from two base quantities, that is length divided by time. So length divided by time, you got velocity. Same goes for force. The force that you need to use to push the car. For example, force is a derived quantity. It comes from F, force, equals to M times A. M is mass, A is acceleration. So force comes from the calculation of mass times acceleration. And acceleration also is derived quantity, it's not base quantity. So base quantity, length, mass, time. These three things. Actually, we have 7, but usually for engineering students, we focus on these 3 base quantities, length, mass, and time. It's very important. Now, we are looking at some from chemical engineering context. Pressure is very important for us to tell whether the reactor in certain industries are safe to be used or not. We need to see the pressure. If the pressure is overloaded, so it's very dangerous, we have to regulate it. We have to regulate the pressure. Maybe we have to decrease the pressure or something. So the pressure is a derived quantity. It comes from force divided by area. Force, also a derived quantity, can be calculated using F equals to ma. A is the area, also derived from length times length. Panjang kali lebar, atau panjang kali panjang, we have the area. So panjang kali panjang also derived quantity. So pressure is a derived quantity. The flow rate of any fluid in the inlet or the outlet of any reactor, also a derived quantity. The flow rate of any fluid or part transporting. So the flow rate equals to Q equals to V over T. What does it mean? V is velocity of the moving liquid divided by time. Sorry, V is not velocity. The volume. Sorry, it's my mistake. V over T. Volume. The volume, length times length times length, L, you got volume, isi padu, divided by time of movement of the liquid, it is known as flow rate. These are just examples. Ini example lagi. Kalau masih ada belum faham macam mana nak bagi, nak tambah tolak ni, tak apa, jangan risau. Ini cumalah introduction. Temperature. To observe the reaction kinetics for chemical engineering. Because high temperature, of course, your reaction kinetic will be very, very high. So your chemical reaction will be very, very high. Okay, it's so rigorous. Rigorous. I mean, we need to control the temperature sometimes. So the unit of temperature is T Kelvin. And about concentration, you need to be able to calculate the concentration for mixing processes. So the formula is C equals to N over V. N is the number of matter over volume. It's a unit of mole per volume. These are just some of the derived quantities that you might use during your study in chemical engineering. Okay, let us see some of the base quantities and units. Actually, we have 7 base quantities, but you just need to focus on length, mass, and also time. Okay, length, mass, and time. Ini sangat-sangat penting. So the symbol of length, sometimes we use L, sometimes we use X, sometimes we use R, or sometimes we use any other symbol as well. Tak apa, boleh saja. Tak ada masalah. Sometimes the width is in the y-axis, so instead of use S, we use Y. Sometimes the length is on the z-axis, so we don't use X or Y, we use Z. The symbol can be anything. The meter, the unit, the SI unit, the standard unit. SI means actually international standard, international standard system. SI tu maksud dia. So whole wide world they will use quite similar of the units. Only certain country they will use differently. Ada setengah country dia tak pakai SI unit, dia pakai imperial unit. Tak apalah, lantak dia lah nak pakai imperial unit tak apa, but we use SI unit. Majority of the country we will use SI unit. The symbol is M, symbol of unit. Yang ni tadi simbol untuk penandaan length. Untuk SI unit dia meter, simbol dia adalah M. Yang ni tak boleh tukar. Simbol unit tak boleh tukar. Cannot be changed to some other alphabet, tak boleh. So dimension is L. Length is L, but you put bracket. Letak bracket. Itu menandakan L tu adalah dimensi. Dimension. It's very simple. Meter, kita ukur panjang, we measure length, and so dimension is capital L, and you put bracket. Why do we need to learn this dimension? Later I show you why do we need to learn this dimension, because we want to do dimensional analysis. Mass, SI unit kilogram, bukan gram, bukan ounce, bukan pound, bukan yang lain, adalah kilogram. SI unit. Unit kg, kilogram, unit symbol is kg. The dimension is M in bracket. Mass. Tahu kita selalu cakap weight ataupun berat kan, but berat sebenarnya bukan mass. Berat adalah weight, and weight adalah force. It's categorized under force. Tak apa, kita relax ni. Tengok dulu mass tu lah. Mass adalah kilogram. Time, symbol is T. Unit is second. Second dia punya unit symbol adalah S. Dia punya dimension adalah capital T in bracket. What are the other four SI or base quantities? We have electric current, thermodynamic temperature, amount of substance, luminous intensity. So these are the four, kita tak berapa tekankan lah. Okay, electric current, dimension is I, thermodynamic temperature, the dimension is theta, amount of substance, kita pakai capital N, luminous intensity, pakai J, ataupun nama dia candle lah. Patutnya C lah kan, we don't use C. Right? So paling penting adalah 1, 2, 3, line, mass and time. Maybe for chemical engineering, you also need to learn this amount of substance lah, mole, N. Amount of substance, mole. The Avogadro number. Common derived quantity, yang tadi adalah base quantity. So we only have 7 base quantity. So kita buat operasi matematik. Length, mass, time, electric current, thermodynamic, temperature, so on and so forth, we could get these derived quantities. For example, area. Area we could get from length times width. Width ni also adalah the length. So length times length. Length punya unit adalah meter, width punya unit adalah meter. So meter times meter, we got meter square. Dan area, keluasan kertas kamu, what is the area of this piece of paper? So you measure the length and you measure the width. Tengok sini 10 km, sini adalah 5 km. 10 km kali 5 km dapat 50 km persegi. Persegi pula. Ayo, persegi lah kan? So itulah dia punya area 10 kali 5, 50 meter square. 50 km square. Besarnya kertas ni 50 km square. Kilometer tu. Contoh. Katakanlah saya ni, Big Bag Jaya ni lah, 5 km selamba saya pegang kertas kan. Let's say. Right. Volume. Volume pula, length times width times height. Volume, contohnya, volume of this file. Nampak ke file ni? Oh, besar. Tak nampak? Ni lah. Remote ni kan. Berapa volume ya? Kalau area kita jadilah sini kan. Length times width. Tapi kalau nak kira volume, kita darab length times width. Tengok kat tepi pula. Darablah dia punya height kat sini. Tinggi, lebar, ketebalan, lebar dan ketinggian, we will get the volume. So different shape will have different formula. Ini kalau dia adalah bentuk cube lah. Okay, length times width times height, we get volume. Meter cube. Meter kuasa 3. We call it as meter cube. Yang ni meter square. Atau area. Yang ni adalah meter cube. Dia adalah volume. Same goes for your motorcycle or car. Okay. You buy R15 R15. CC berapa? What does it mean by CC? Motor kau berapa CC? Kereta kau berapa CC? 1.3 je. What does it mean by CC? It's cubic centimeter. cubic centimeter. cm kuasa 3, cubic centimeter, cm kuasa 3, dia punya volume of your combustion chamber. Kita akan belajar combustion chamber lah. Salah satu kenapa orang sebut cc, dia adalah singkatan kepada cubic centimeter, melambangkan isi padu the combustion chamber, internal combustion chamber. Only internal combustion chamber car or motorcycle have cc. For those who are driving EV, dia tak ada cc. Sebab dia tak pakai internal combustion chamber. Alright, dia pakai electric, different concept of car. Jantung dia berbeza. Apa lagi? Velocity. Okay, velocity comes from the displacement divided by time. Displacement sebenarnya adalah jarak. So jarak also panjang. Displacement also term as length. So length divided by time. Length, the unit is meter. Time is second. So meter per second. So velocity, the SI unit is meter per second. Kalau ada yang tak faham kenapa ada S kuasa negatif 1 ni, maksud dia lah meter bahagi saat. Kalau nampak negatif 1. Nampak negatif ni maksudnya sini sepatutnya ada bahagi, meter bahagi saat. Kalau tak nak tulis meter ni, macam meter per saat, meter per saat macam ni. Atau alternatively, you can write it as meter times second to the power of negative 1. This is meter per second. This is also meter per second. Same meaning, different type of penulisan. Acceleration, it's velocity over time. So velocity you have calculated, velocity adalah meter per saat. Ini dia meter per saat. Meter per saat kita bahagi dengan saat lagi. Velocity is already meter per second and divided by time. Therefore, you will get meter per second square. Meter divided by second divided by second. Velocity is meter divided by second. Then you divide it by second again. So meter per saat is actually meter per second square. Macam itu. Right? So force from the equation mass times acceleration. We will have specific topic for force later. Ini saya tunjuk dia punya formula dahulu. Comes from mass times acceleration. Force is a base quantity. Acceleration is a derived quantity. So how do we calculate acceleration? Acceleration, velocity divided by time. So it is meter per second square. So mass times meter per second square. Mass, the unit is kilogram. Acceleration is meter per second square. So force is kilogram meter per second square. Panjang sangat. We have specific name for that. That is Newton. The unit is Newton. Comes from the name of Sir Isaac Newton, who was very actively discussing about gravitational acceleration. So force, the unit comes from the equation F equals to ma. Mass is kilogram, acceleration is meter per second square. So kilogram meter per second square. Combine them together, we could use Newton unit. So density, the symbol is rho. This is not P, density. Ketumpatan. What is ketumpatan? Ketumpatan or density is very unique. Different material, they will have different density. For example, you can fool our eyes. For example, you have gold on your right hand side, and you have fool's gold or on your other hand. Original gold and fool's gold. Fool's gold made out of chalcopyrite. Original gold made out of coral. Yang berharga adalah coral. Yang tak berharga adalah fool's gold daripada chalcopyrite. If you observe using our naked eye, they both look exactly the same. Chalcopyrite and gold, we cannot differentiate They are physical. They are physics, we cannot differentiate. But we could use density. Oh, sekejap ada tetamu. Sekejap, saya buka pintu sekejap. Datang nak raya ke? Okay. Miza, dah ada alamat ni kan? Sekejap Dah ada alamat yang saya bagi kan? Alamat peguam tu. Saya dah WhatsApp. Alamat peguam. Ni duit untuk pos laju. Yang lebih, belilah Maggi makan tengah hari. Tak ada lah. Tolong pos laju boleh? Dekat alamat. Saya dah bagi alamat peguam. Sebab dia orang nak kena uruskan saya punya dokumen tu. Harta pusaka Saudik Segaraga daripada Kongostan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, semua nak turun kat saya. Kita kena bagi dokumen tu. Ada? Semua dia orang perlukan sampul surat tak? Boleh tolong belikan dekat koperasi tak yang muat? Yang tu plastik tu jangan buang tau. Jangan masuk plastik sekali. Sebab kalau hujan ribut ke apa je, dokumen saya tak rosak. Jangan dekat gambar. Post lagi dekat gambar. Boleh? Nanti ambil gambar sekali, tracking dia. Tracking ke gambar dia. Sebab saya nak kena bagi kat lawyer tu. Sebab lawyer ni, semua benda dia minta. Gambar kasut saya pun dia minta. Saya bagilah gambar kasut. Okay? Tolong. Thank you. Saya nak continue. Lah, saya tak off mikrofon. Nasiblah. Tak apa, pura-pura tak dengar Alright. Okay, we continue. Where were we? Density. The only thing that cannot fool us is the density. Even though chalcopyrite and gold, we cannot differentiate between them using our naked eye. But if we could measure the density, yes, we could differentiate them. As I mentioned before, different material, they will have different density. Walaupun serupa, density dia berbeza. Of course, density of gold will be higher than that of the density of chalcopyrite. So if we put gold and chalcopyrite in any, for example, in water, the chalcopyrite somehow it will sink quite slowly than that of the gold. From that observation, you know that the one that sinks very quickly, that is the gold, but chalcopyrite, the one that sinks slower than that of the gold. So density is very important. This also how people in jewelry industry determine whether your gold is 100% pure or already mixed with some other metals by calculating the density. They calculate the mass and then they calculate the volume of the water that a clean gold to have. Then they use this formula. You got the mass, you got the volume, divide together. Kalau sama dengan density of pure gold, so your gold is pure and the price is very, very high. Kalau dah campur-campur tu price dia akan rendah sedikit lah. Ataupun bukan emas langsung, maka density dia takkan sama langsung. Jadi kalau kedai pajak gadai ke kedai you nak jual emas lama, you nak beli emas baru, dia akan check dulu you punya density. Dia check you ditimbang dapat emas, dia check dia punya volume emas kamu tadi dalam bentuk gelang tu, dia check dia punya volume, dia akan dapat density. Kat situlah penilaian harga emas dilakukan. So ini penting ni, density ni nak people daripada chemical engineering kan. Perempuan tahulah ni, dia biasa tetap nak raya tu dia tukar gelang emas dia yang lama, dia beli emas yang baru, nak check density lah hantar ke kedai. Alright. So energy work, tak apalah kita tak sentuh lah energy work dengan power ni kan, nanti you pening. Sekut sampai density dulu kita tengok. Just a very basic introduction only. Now, quick estimation challenge. Now, mungkin you jawab salah, mungkin you jawab betul. Kan? You pun dah ada slide ni. Tak apalah. You boleh buka slide ni dekat you punya laptop sendiri ya. Untuk apa? Tak ada dapat apa-apa hadiah ke apa ini. Cumanya usually every test and every final examination I will try to find people with the highest mark. Kategori perempuan satu, kategori lelaki satu. During the test or final exam. So siapa yang dapat highest mark kategori perempuan dan lelaki, saya akan bawa dua-duanya pergi makan dekat Tengoklah Solace Cafe ke atau Hobby. Apa nama tu? Apa nama kedai tu? Hobby. Madam apa at Hobby lah. Miss Elliot at Hobby. Miss Elliot at Hobby ataupun lab smoking dekat pekan ke. Itu biasa saya akan buat lah, nanti saya akan umumkan. Okay, quick estimation challenge. Estimate the scale and select the correct SI prefix for each chemical engineering scenario. So we have industrial storage tank. Tengok. Yalah, kamu tak kerja lagi kan? So, but pernah nampak kilang kan? Pernah nampak kilang tu. You pernah lalu kawasan perindustrian. So they have this industrial storage tank, the volume of large oil storage tank ataupun lori tangki gitu kan. So kita nak kira isi padu. We want to calculate the isi padu. We use the unit for apa ni, volume kan. So the unit is meter cube. But because of the enormous size of the tank, are they using meter cube only, or they have certain prefixes to be added? Contohnya nano meter cube ke, atau mega meter cube ke, atau giga meter cube ke. Cuba tengok, dia pakai apa? Kita klik je plot. Itu dia. Tengok. For industrial scale, besar, large storage tanks, they hold millions of liter. So let's say they have 5 million liter. 5 million liter. Okay. The scientific notation they are using is 5 times 10 to the power of 6. That is 5 million. Maksudnya ada nombor kosong 6 kali selepas nombor 5 tu. That is what does it mean by 5 times to the 10 to the power of 6. Maksudnya ada 6 kali kosong. 5 0 0 0 0 0. That is 5 million. 5 million liters. So if we do unit conversion from liter, because liter is not SI unit. SI unit for volume is meter cube. Let's say you are using computer, you convert 5 million liter into meter cube, you will get 5,000 meter cube. So macam mana nak convert? Later, bukan sekarang. Kita ada specific topic how to convert these units. Kita boleh guna 5,000 meter cube. Okay. Berapa prefix dia pakai? Kita nak, tak ada prefix ni, 5,000. Okay, 5,000 you can use 5 megaliter. 5 megaliter pula. Liter tadi tu, panjang sangat kan? Kita boleh gunakan 5 megaliter. Mega is equal to 10 to the power of 6. Dia tak ada specific format. There is no specific format that you must convert liter to meter cube to centimeter cube. Tak ada. What I'm showing you right now is just to have a quick idea that each unit can be converted to other unit. Dia tak wajib you mesti convert liter kepada meter. Tak. No. Saya just nak tunjuk saja. Liter can be converted to other unit as well. For example, meter cube can be converted. How to convert? We haven't reached that topic yet. Later. I just want to show you that yes, we can convert one unit to another unit. If you don't want to convert, katakanlah you don't want to convert, but I will still want to use liter. But to write 5 times 10 to the power of 6 liter is very lengthy. Is there any technique to make it shorter? Yes, we have a technique for that. We call it as prefixes. Liter, you can use L, capital L. 10 to the power of 6, we can use mega. Macam megabyte, megawords, mega apa lagi? Mega. Usually you use megabyte kan for storage, tapi zaman sekarang tak pakai mega, pakai giga lah. Zaman megabyte, zaman saya sekolah dulu, mega. That was beberapa ribu tahun yang lalu lah. Mega. So mega is actually time 10 to the power of 6. So how do we know mega is time 10 to the power of 6? How about other prefixes? Yeah, we have other prefixes, but later I will show you a table. Which prefixes belongs to which scientific notation. Buat sekarang tengok M besar, capital M, bukan M kecil. Capital M, the prefixes M carries scientific notation of time 10 to the power of 6. Ada 10 kali kosong, itu mesti mega. Look at the second one, catalyst particle. Catalyst particle, for example, zeolite catalyst, certain catalysts that you have in your exhaust system in car or in motorcycle, they have this catalyst to convert the exhaust gas into some other gas that is not dangerous to the environment. So the particle of zeolite in catalyst is your exhaust is very big, but the particle in your exhaust, the catalyst particle is very, very small. You use in the region of nanometer. You cannot see 10 nanometer. We cannot see. How about we use prefix nano? Tadi kita use prefix mega. Sekarang kita pakai prefix nano. So nano is 10 to the power of -9. Mega adalah 10 to the power of 6. Nano 10 to the power of -9. So quite hard lah to understand this. Never mind. Later I give you a table. If you see the table, you know how to memorize using mnemonic technique. You will create songs out of these prefixes, and you can remember the scientific notation in no time. What I'm showing right now is just to have a quick idea that we could use prefixes to shorten the conversation. Instead of saying, yalah kalau kita dalam industri kan, ada berapa besar kau punya particle you punya particle size ni? Oh, it's about 10 to the power of 10 to the power 10 times 10 to the power of -9 meter. Pening kawan kau. Cakap dia 10 nanometer. Yeah, it's very small. It's 10 nanometer. Kan senang. Nak cakap ni terbelah lidah tau. Terbelah lidah tau kau. Tongue twister. 10 times 10 to the power of -9 meters. 10. Very hard. So make it simpler. 10 nanometer. Simple. Alright. How about reactor pressure? Operating pressure in Haber process. Born-Haber process. Thermodynamic. You akan belajar nanti dekat you punya senior years. So pressure. Kita pakai prefix apa? Mega, nano, kilo. Don't know. Am I? Click. It's about 20 megapascal. Megapascal. Kita dah belajar mega tadi. Mega adalah 10 to the power of 6. Tu dia. Dan pascal ni kalau kita nak, if you want to convert pascal in other unit of pressure also can. Atmospheric pressure. For example, ATM. Ada lagi. Ada lagi. Bar. But they are not SI unit. SI unit is pascal. Sebab itu tim pasukan pascal. Pasukan apa? Pasukan Pascal lah, askar laut tu kan. They don't crack under pressure. Dia selam bawah laut, they don't crack under pressure. Nama dia, kita pakai nama Pascal. Padahal dia nama dia pasukan tentera laut. Itulah lebih kurang lah. Kalau udara, Pascal, komando udara kan. But Pascal ni dia punya task dia tu, don't crack under pressure. Daripada nama Pascal dia tu. Alright. Ada apa yang you mungkin tengok dekat chemical engineering? Explosive reaction. Pyro reaction, explosive reaction. Time duration of a combustion event. Yeah. So usually for combustion, not necessarily bomb lah. Whatever combustion, your fuel or something, the combustion happens sub-second. Bawah skala saat. It's about microsecond. So what is the scientific notation for micro prefix? It's about 10 to the power of -6. Dia adalah 0.00000 something. Itu micro. Itu negatif. Kalau negatif adalah 0.000 something. Kalau tak ada negatif, dia adalah 0.00000. Tak ada 0 point. So, that's the idea. Negatif 6 ni maksudnya dari kecil daripada 1 saat. Itu maksud negatif. Ini tempat dia punya kecil tu ada 6 kali kosong. Cooling of water, the flow rate in the main plant header, kita ada radiator, water, flowing water to cool off certain part of the reactor. So the cooling rate, the movement of the flow rate of the fluid is in volume per second, in liter per second. Ataupun we could convert it into meter cube per second. Sekejap saya nak balas WhatsApp wife saya, dia pergi medical check up sekejap, ada pertanyaan sikit. Mula sekali kita screenshot, tunjuk sedang kelas, tak boleh cakap banyak. Ya, dengan wife kan, dengan girlfriend, sama je behavior, you tak boleh tak jawab langsung tau. Nanti juga yang merana. You kena jawab. Spend time.
Sender nak punya alamat ke saya?
Sender apa? Saya. Itu bawa
Isi dalam ni dan sampai-sampai scan je.
oh ke?
Dia memang begitu.
Alamat saya tahu tak?
Nampak?
Ada tetap foto tak? Ke saya ada kat sini?
Tak ada dia.
Sebentar ya. Saya sambil-sambil dulu. Misal saya hantar ni lah, detail beli barang. Kalau nampak item tu, boleh tahu lah. Nama barang tu jangan masuk pula dekat alamat tu. Kan buang tu pelik kan. Hang letak nama barang ni. Alright, okay, we continue our lesson. Mana tadi? Flow kan? Flow, okay. Last sekali. Lab reagent. Mass of powder for small experiment. Ni tak lari lah. For chemical engineering student, you will go. Definitely you will go to the lab. Try to measure some chemical in the form of powder or liquid. So in terms of powder, how do you measure it? It's in the scale of milligram. Milligram 4 tu dia, kita ada prefixes milli, so kita ada dia punya scientific notation. Ini boleh 10 to the power of negative 3. Kalau tak nampak beritahu, tak apa, you boleh guna apa ni, Gemini AI. So maksudnya to measure this small of mass, you have to use the 4 decimal point of scale, of weighing scale. Tak boleh pakai itu decimal point because you are measuring milli, kerana dia adalah 10 to the power of negative 3. You have to use the 4 decimal point, right? Okay, next. Okay, still about the scientific notation and prefixes. Okay, how about this? Let's try to use the Gemini AI lah. Okay, guna Gemini AI. Okay, the one that looks like star. Top right hand corner or left hand corner ni? Right corner. You see it, an icon like a star. There is Gemini AI. Ada tak? Cuba respon jap, ada tak? Ada, yes. Okay, kalau dia tekan satu, buat saya nak tengok TikTok lah. Okay, so click that Gemini AI icon, ask Gemini AI to generate prefix and scientific notation. Okay, saya pun nak cubalah. Saya bawah ini nampak rupa-rupanya ada Gemini AI lah untuk student ULP. Generate prefix and scientific notations. Enter. There you go. See? Tunjuk daripada Queta, Rona, Iota, Zeta, Exa, Peta, Tera, Giga, Mega, Kilo, so and so forth until Quecto. So if you look at the scientific notations, they have specific pattern. Queta adalah 10 to the power of 30, Rona 10 to the power of 27, Iota 10 to the power of 24, kemudian goes 21, 18, 15, 12, 10. You see, it's a multiplication of 3 kan? Ini sifar darab 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Sifar 3 guys. So you have this pattern. So you just need to memorize the alphabet. The pattern is there already. It's not that hard. You just need to memorize the alphabet. So how to memorize the alphabet? Make a song. What song? Any song that you like. Make a rhyme. I have my own song, but I cannot reveal my song. It's very dangerous. You have to, you have to create your own song. Semua dapat tak? Dapat tak table ni? Oh, kejap balas balik WhatsApp saya. Pakai apa? Pakai email lain lah. Pakai email saya yang biasa saya put kat UNTSA. Okay, semua dapat kan? Semua nampak dah bagi ni ya. Okay, ngam. Alright, good. Okay, cuba tengok dulu. Prefix dengan simbol dengan scientific notation dulu, tengok dulu. Sementara saya buat apa ni, jawab ni. Sambil-sambil lah. Okay, kita tengok yang pertama dulu. Scientific notation and prefixes. Click to reveal. But dia kata convert to scientific and prefix. You have been given 0.00045 meter. So we can convert this value into scientific notation. Look at the scientific notation. It's 4.5 times 10 to the power of -4. Macam mana nak convert ni? Cuba tengok dulu sekejap. Cuba fikir sekejap. Yang mana dah pernah belajar fizik sebelum ni tak apa. Yang belum pernah belajar tak apa. Tengok je. Mana sampai 10. Sampai 10 tu. Fikirkan 1-2 minit. Nampak pattern tak? Okay, mari kita tengok. Alright. Mula-mula sekali. If we want to convert this unit 0.00004 meter in standard, this is standard decimal form. This is standard decimal form. If you want to convert into scientific notation, again, saya buat disclaimer sekejap. There is no need for you during any physical calculations to convert from the value from your calculator to convert into scientific notation or prefixes. There is no need. Usually during test or during examination, whatever you get from your scientific calculator, you just key in or write it down on the paper. No need to change it to scientific notation or prefix unless you are told to. Kalau tak disuruh, tak payah convert. Ambil je daripada kalkulator, masukkan dalam kertas. Tulis kat kertas. Kecuali kalau disuruh. Kalau disuruh, ya baru buat. So, how to convert the way of writing from standard decimal form to scientific notation? Look at here. Usually, to use scientific notation, kita guna perpuluhan. Dia tak boleh 0.45 ataupun 45.0, tak boleh. Must be a single digit followed by decimal point. For example, kita ada 45 kat sini kan. Beside 0, we have 4 and 5. So to make scientific notation, we must put the first number 4 and put decimal point and followed by the second number. From 45 becomes 4.5. So imagine you have 4.5 over here. Yang tempat saya highlight, imagine that you have 4.5 over here. You have decimal point in between 4 and 5, and the original decimal point was here. How many steps you have to go from left to right? Kat sini, first step, dia pergi kat sini, second step, 1, 2, 3, 4. Decimal point asal dekat sini, nak pergi dekat antara 4 dengan 5, the decimal point needs to move 4 steps to the right. Because of that 4 steps to the right, you have to write it like this. Times 10 to the power of berapa step? 4. Ke kiri, ke kanan? Ke kanan. Negative 4. Because you have something smaller, you make it bigger. 0.00045 is smaller than 4.5. So that's why you put negative. Whenever the decimal point move to the right, you put negative. How many negative? Depending on the step of the movement of the decimal point. If 4 steps to the right, you put times 10 to the power of negative 4. If you want to use prefix, the prefix negative 4. Is there any prefix for negative 4? No, tak ada. Dia cuma ada negative 3. And negative 3 is milli. So, negative 4 tak ada, we can use milli. Milli, masalah dia lah negative 3. Macam nak jadi negative 4? Senang. Yang decimal point ni kita bawa ke kiri, jadi 0.45. So 0.45 adalah 4.5 kali 10 kuasa negatif 1. 10 kuasa negatif 1 kalikan dengan mili kat sini, 10 kuasa negatif 3, combine them together, you still get 10 to the power of negative 4. Begitu. Tak faham? Tak apa. Kita tengok contoh yang kedua. Tengok dulu, jemput tengok. Okay, convert mega prefix. You have 7,200,000 joule. It's in the form of standard integer. Yang ni standard integer, yang ni decimal form. Standard decimal ni standard integer. Integer lah, tak ada point kat sini. Okay, scientific notation, as I mentioned before, look at the number beside 0. You have 7 and 2. So, put 7 and 2. Ini koma tau, yang ni koma. Ini koma bukannya decimal point. Dia tak ada decimal point. Decimal point kat sini adalah 7 1,200,000 ni, decimal point dekat sini. Tu. Yang ni koma, depan ni koma, bukan. Okay, put 7 and 2 over here, scientific notation. Put 7 and 2 and put decimal point between 7 and 2. Okay, now, from the original decimal point over here, berapa langkah, how many steps to the left to make it 7.2? Daripada sini, dia pergi sebelah sini. Oops, mana ni? Ni. 1 step, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 step to the left. There was 6 step to the left, maksudnya from something bigger, you want to make it smaller. Then, your scientific notation should be times 10 to the power of positive. Positive how much? How many steps? 6. So, positive 6. Ini scientific notation. How about prefix? Look at your prefix table. You already asked from the Gemini tadi kan? 10 to the power of 6 ni apa? It's mega. Then, very easy. You just put 7.2 times 10 to the power of 6 ni gantikan dengan mega. So you have 7.2 megajoule. Just like that. Confused? Relax dulu. Kita tengok yang third example. Convert kilogram to grams. So this is the base standard unit form. You have 0.0032 kilogram. Bukan 0.0032 salah. Ramai orang sebut sekarang 0.0032. Salah, tak boleh. After decimal point, you cannot say you have to spell out. You have to spell out the name of the number one by one. 0.0032. Macam tu. Bukan 0032. Salah. Right? Saya tengok banyak lah dekat TikTok ke apa ke, influencer kan salah sebut. Berat dia ringan, dek. 0.50 saja. 0.50. Yes, habis tu Malaysia salah sebut. Alright. Okay. So from base SI unit to convert to scientific gram. Scientific notation. Okay, scientific notation dia mesti ada kali 10 kuasa something. That is scientific notation. So this is already prefix. Kilo ni adalah prefix. Dia nak convert prefix kepada simple form. So scientific grams, macam ni kita nak buat. Look over here. Macam nak buat scientific notation. Ada number beside 0 adalah 3 dengan 2. So you put 3 and 2. And you put decimal point in between 3 and 2. Ada decimal point kat sini. So the original decimal point is from here. You kena bergerak ke kanan. Maksudnya dia sedang membesarkan nombor yang kecil. So dia bergerak ke kanan. 0 kat sini. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. So it move to the right. Tak nampak ni nombor 3 ni. Tak nampak It's number 3 ni. Negative 3. It's 3.2 times 10 to the power of negative 3 gram. Tak nampak ni. Negative 3 dia combine jadi something macam kosong dah tu. Betul kan ya? Okay, now. It's 3.2 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Bukan. Sorry. I was wrong. Sorry guys. Tak habis lagi. Tak habis. It's 3.2 times 10 to the power of negative 3 kilogram. Kat sini, sekarang tadi, kalau kita buat tadi, it's 3.2. Kita dah alih ini, 1, 2, 3. It's 3.2 times 10 to the power of negative 3 kilogram. Now, we don't want the prefix kilo. We want to take out prefix kilo. Now, look at your table again. Tengok Gemini tadi. Kilo is times 10 to the power of positive 3. So now you have 3.2 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Saya salah sebut tadi. Again. So now you have 3.2 times 10 to the power of negative 3 kilogram. Take out kilo. Kilo tukar kepada scientific notation. Darab lagi dengan 10 to the power of 3. So you have 10 to the power of negative 3 times 10 to the power of 3. They cancel out each other. There you go, you got 10 to the power of 0. Gram. The unit is gram. Saya tak ada. Sekejap. Saya terlupa bawa saya punya pen digital. So saya tak boleh nak tulis kat sini. Dekat permukaan sini. Kalau tak, boleh tulis kat sini ni. Pen digital. Susah nak tuliskan. So there you go. In simple form, you got 3.2 gram. Nah, sebab 10 kuasa kosong adalah 1. So 3.2 kali 1 adalah 1. Dia dapat 3.2 gram. Nah, sihat. Tengok dulu. Sekarang convert micro to prefix. You have 5.0 times 10 to the power of 87 meter. This is scientific notation. Dalam scientific notation, nampak kali 10 kuasa berapa, adalah maksudnya scientific notation. Kita nak cuba tukar dia kepada decimal form. Macam nak tukar decimal form? Senang saja. Look at the base number. We have 5.0. This is the decimal point. In between 5 and 0. Okay, now you have 7. You have 7 here, 10 to the power of negative 7. You must have 7 step. But ke kanan ke kiri? So kalau macam ni, you have to be 7 step to the left. Untuk yang ini, 7 step to the left. Tahu? Macam ni. Tadi 5.0 kan? 5.0. Dia punya decimal point dekat sini. Right? 7 step to the left. Maka sini 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. Itu dia 7 step to the left. So you got 0.5. Berapa? 0.0000005 meter. Ni daripada sini. Kan? Daripada sini kita pergi ke kiri. 1. Kalau 1 kiri jadi 0.5. 2 step ke kiri jadi 0.05. 3 step ke kiri dapat 0.005. 4 step, 5 step, 6 step dan 7 step. Dapatlah 0.0000005 meter. Ini dalam decimal point. Kalau daripada scientific notation nak kembangkan, kita kena kira step. Daripada scientific notation, kalau nampak dia negatif, you kena step ke kiri. Kalau positif, you kena step ke kanan. Agak berbeza dengan yang atas tadi tu. Sini daripada decimal point, untuk jadi scientific notation, you kena step ke kanan. Daripada scientific notation, nak jadi decimal point, you kena step ke kiri. Dah dapatlah unit prefix dia seperti itu. Okay. Tengok dulu balik. Hadamkan 1-2 minit. Dah ke Miza? Dah.
Drop off.
Oh, drop off saja. Dia orang post tengah hari kan? Dia orang post tengah hari kan? Dia orang post dulu.
Apa nanti seal dia kan?
Seal. Yang tak seal. Kalau tak cukup beritahu saya.
7 ini.
Ambil lah tu. Isi minyak sekali.
Itu kat mana? Tak nampak pun.
Apa tu? Apa tu? Ada dekat bilik 24 jam. Dia menyuruh bilik 24 jam. Ujung sana. Bawah ujung sana. Atau belah mana dia tu?
Ada.
Okay, we continue. Alright. Ni untuk test your understanding lah ni. Right? This to test your understanding. Let us see one by one, slowly, slowly. Look at the pro tips I've given over there. Okay, always check if the value should be bigger or smaller. Macam saya bagi tips dekat latihan sebelum ni. Check the value. Become smaller or bigger. So if from mega to kilo means more units, the number will be bigger. Kejap ada orang nak call saya. It's urgent. Saya kena tutup mikrofon dia. Yang mana ada slide tu boleh cuba tengok dulu slide. I'm sorry for the interruption. Okay. Kita sambung. Mana tadi? Okay. Tak apa, kita tengok. I know some of you might say, oh, this is too hard for me. Tak apa. Practice makes perfect. Saya dulu pun bukannya pandai. Sekarang pun bukannya pandai sangat. Tapi saya boleh share lah. I can share with you my experience how I do this before kan. Just kena you have to know whether to move to the right or to the left. Becomes bigger or becomes smaller. So for example, you want to convert from 2.5 times 10 to the power of negative 6 meter to micrometer. Oh, macam mana ni? Daripada meter kepada micrometer. Maksudnya dia menjadi getting bigger ke getting smaller? Tak apa, klik je. Klik. Given 2.5 times 10 to the power of negative 6 meter. Ni. So factor. Conversion factor. Ini masuk factor ni maksudnya conversion factor. So, you are you want to convert into micrometer. So next question will be, 1 micrometer ni besar mana? So 1 micrometer is equals to micro. Look at the prefix table just now. Ask Gemini again. Gemini, micro ni scientific notation apa? Gemini pun cakap, micro is 10 to the power of -6. Later you have to try to memorize the name of the prefix and scientific notation. Pico 10 kuasa berapa, nano 10 kuasa berapa dan sebagainya. You try to memorize. So 1 micrometer is actually 10 to the power of -6 meter. Okay. So how to solve? How to solve is, okay, you have 2.5, asal tadi 2.5 times 10 to the power of -6 meter. Kebetulan. Tally dengan yang ni. Ni atas ni kan. Kebetulan. Your soalan is tally with the prefix. It's 10 to the power of -6. Straight away, you cancel out this one. Cancel out 10 to the power of -6 dengan simbol micro. Ini dia. Ataupun if you want to do this, if you want to do this by format is that what you need to do. So after you know the factor, what you need to do is that salin balik soalan tadi, 2.5 times 10 to the power of -6 meter. Salin balik. Kemudian you have to multiply it by the factor. You have the factor over here. Ini factor. So how do we multiply? Sebab ini adalah equals. Okay, it's easy. Now, you have to guess. You have to determine which one will become the numerator, which one becomes the denominator. So, depending on your question. So, on your question, it's 10 to the power of -6 meter. We want to cancel meter. Make it micrometer. Why? Because the question asks you so. You want to convert meter. That's why you want to cancel meter. You want the new unit becomes micrometer. Okay. So how do we cancel this meter? So from this factor, conversion factor, the 1 micrometer becomes the numerator. Nampak ni, dia darab conversion factor. Conversion factor ni you must do based on the factor you have written over here. 1 micrometer becomes the numerator, ataupun bahasa Melayu dia pengatas. Bahasa saya tahun 80-an, pengatas nama dia. Dalam pecahan, numerator, the top one called numerator ataupun pengatas. The bottom one is denominator. Can you guess the name in 80s? Kalau atas adalah pengatas, yang bawah adalah pembawah. So, the one that has same unit as your question will become the denominator. Fine. 10 kuasa -6 meter, unit is meter, becomes the denominator. So meter unit will cancel out meter unit. So yang ada sekarang tinggallah 2.5 kali 10 kuasa -6 kali 1 micrometer bagi 10 kuasa -6. So 10 kuasa -6 dengan 10 kuasa -6 cancel out each other. So you only have 2.5 micrometer. Itu dah jawapan. 2.5 micrometer. Confused? Next. Kita tengok next question. Dah dapat tapi sikit lagi. Okay, never mind. Tengok seterusnya. Right. So you want to convert 0.0035 meter to millimeter. Daripada meter kepada millimeter. Skala besar kepada skala kecil. Okay. Now make it easier. Convert it into scientific notation first. It's 3.5. Convert kepada scientific notation. Kita nak titik perpuluhan antara 3 dengan 5. So your original decimal point is over here. You go to the right, how many steps? 1, 2, 3. So it's 3.5 times 10 to the power -3 meter because you are moving to the right. From small to big, you move to the right, should be the scientific notation in the form of -3. So it's 3.5 times 10 to the power of -3. So from this point, you want to convert into millimeter. So what's your conversion factor? So you want milli kan, millimeter. 1 millimeter ni berapa 1 millimeter ni berapa? So 1 milli 1 millimeter equals to 10 to the power of negative 3 meter. Tertinggal perkataan meter kat sini. Kat sini. Tertinggal perkataan meter. Boleh tambah sendirilah. 1 millimeter equals to 10 to the power of negative 3 meter. Kebetulan pula sama. Kebetulan pula sama. Saya kena ada pen lah kat sini. Macam mana ada pen? Saya tak ada pen lah nak tunjuk sini. So kalau kebetulan sama, sebenarnya you just simply tukar je 10 to the power negative 3 ni kepada mili. Sebenarnya tak payah buat form yang macam ni. Pun boleh, saya tak ada masalah. Nampak ni kebetulan sama. Kalau kebetulan tak sama, you kena buat cara yang macam yang kanan ni. Begitu. So, confuse lagi tak apa, tengok solution. Tengok solution. Right? Tengok yang ni. Convert 3.2 megawatt to kilowatt. So base you have 3.2. What is mega? Mega is 10 to the power of 6. You have to look at the prefix table. I think we will give you lah prefix table. But for exercises you should be able to try to memorize lah somehow. So mega is 10 to the power of 6. So it's 3.2 times 10 to the power of 6 watt. Okay, you want to convert to kilowatt, something bigger. Yeah, no, something smaller. So 1 kilo is actually 10 to the power of 3. So macam mana? 1 kilo equals to 10 to the power of 3. 1 kilo is 10 to the power of 3. Ini kaedah lain pula. So how are we going to do that? Ini guna kaedah lain. Kalau saya guna kaedah lain ni, saya rasa saya akan tuliskan ni nanti. Masuk dekat dalam WhatsApp group. Tak saya tulis sekarang lah. Saya masuk kat WhatsApp group. Takut you confuse pula. Sebab example 1, 2 dan 3 guna kaedah yang berbeza-beza. I have paper. Rekap lah. Video. Saya tulis dulu. Susah pula. So 3.2 megawatt to kilowatt. Okay. So we have 3.2 times 10 to the power of 6 watts. Okay. 1 megawatt equals to 1. Kosong. Watt equals to 1 times 10 to the power of 6 watts. Okay. Now convert. Kilowatt. So kilo 1 kilowatt 1,000. Okay, saya rakam sedikit. Okay guys, from 3.2 megawatt to kilowatt. So the scientific notation of 3.2 megawatt is 3.2 times 10 to the power of 6 watt. So your conversion factor will be 1 megawatt equals to 1 million watts. This is times 10 to the power of 6. So 1 megawatt equals to 1 times to the 10 to the power of 6 watts. So refer to your question. It wants you to convert it to kilowatt. So 1 kilowatt, kilo is 1,000. So you have 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watts. In scientific notation, you have 1 times 10 to the power of 3 watt. So your answer up here is 3.2 times 10 to the power of 6. Okay, you can separate them together. Separate them. It's 3.2 times 10 to the power of 3 times 10 to the power of 3. Sama juga, kan? 10 kuasa 3 kali 10 kuasa 3 adalah 10 kuasa 6. Now, take it over here. 1 kilowatt is 1 times 10 to the power of 3. Very easy. So, take this one, make it kilo. Because kilo is times 10 to the power of 3. So, your answer is 3.2 times 10 to the power of 3 kilowatt. Sebab ini adalah berbeza dengan yang ni. Kita dah pisahkan 10 kuasa 6 jadi 10 kuasa 3 kali 10 kuasa 3. Total adalah 10 kuasa 6. 10 kuasa 3 ini jadikan dia kilo. So, your answer is 3.2 times 10 to the power of 3. Kalau jadikan nombor 1, 2, 3, dapatlah 3,200 kilowatt. Okay. Dah lah pakai online, lepas saya bagi pula video kan, ambil tengok. Tak apa, kelas pun dah nak habis dah. Ada beberapa minit saja lagi. Okay, saya dah hantar dekat WhatsApp dulu. Macam mana pula nak convert 750 to kilogram? Okay, yang ni sangat simple. Jadinya saya spy ini untuk you cuba-cuba sendiri dekat rumah lah sekarang ni. Wah, best betul semester ni kan. Belajar dekat rumah. Baguslah ada online learning sekarang ni. Jadinya kalau ada isu perayaan, tak senang. Pelajaran masih boleh diteruskan. Kalau zaman saya dulu kan susah. Memang kalau nak raya tu, hari ni lah baru balik, esok raya hari ni baru balik, nasib lah. Memang berpusu-pusu lah, hari jam lah. Baguslah zaman sekarang ni. Ada kemudahan. Alright. And, dah summary of key takeaways ke? Dah sudah rupanya. Dah sudah. Yalah, puasa-puasa tak boleh tanggung sangat. Nanti kan jam kan. Yalah, perut lapar kan. Mesti ada antara ramai yang tak sahur malam tadi kan. Itu saja. Right. Nanti cuba ni, convert 750 gram to kilogram. Cuba sendiri. Summary key takeaways. You can now somehow about 75% you can distinguish between quantities. 75% of you have some idea how to identify base and derived quantities. I'm not going to say 100% because it is very impossible. You have to read back and try to do some calculations, then you could achieve above 90%. And apply prefixes. You can rely only on my lecture. Tak boleh. You can rely only on my lecture. Nowadays, you already have AI. Make full use of AI. I was told that UMP students, they have Gemini Pro, free of charge. Try to make use of that. Gemini Pro. Slide saya ni pun saya buat pakai AI ni. Sebab kalau buat sendiri tak berapa penting. Nampak macam belajar tahun 80-an. Okay, saya buat pakai AI, saya pakai GenSpark yang ni. Of course, it's a paid AI lah. Tapi kalau hasil dia okay, why not? And scientific notations, you takkan dapat 100%, macam saya cakap ni, you somehow dah dapat tapi dah dapat tetapi ada maksudnya sedang belajar. Bukan nak kata you tak pandai, bukan. Bila you sedang belajar, you macam faham tapi ada ada beberapa itu tandanya bagus, you sedang belajar. You sedang challenge, you punya kenapa macam ni? Selalu tak macam ni. Maksudnya sedang belajar. Good, it's a good thing. Engineering units, recognize unit for pressure, volume, the most important one, density. Lepas ni kalau pergi kedai emas, tahulah kenapa dia orang timbang, kenapa dia orang masuk air, rupanya nak kira density. Nak pastikan betul-betul emas ori ataupun tidak. Kerana selain daripada buat eksperimen mudah tu, ada satu lagi eksperimen yang garanti boleh tahu ori ataupun tidak, tetapi sangat mahal, iaitu X-ray diffractometer. Kat FIS ada alat ni, tapi memang mahal lah. Satu sampel tu 100 lebih. Kalau nak check, buat apa? Baik redam dalam air dan timbang atas penimbang. Kira density. Lagi murah, tak keluar duit pun. So coming up session 2 in Thursday, we try to do some more unit conversion. Still unit conversion. We will do dimensional analysis on Thursday. Hopefully we could cover within one hour. What else? So that is all for session 1. Kena buat latihan kena buat latihan. Guna AI saja. AI boleh generate latihan for you. Lagi senang sebab dia boleh tunjuk you jawapan you salah kerana apa. Ambil gambar, upload dekat ChatGPT ke apa, dia boleh beritahu, oh you salah sebab ni. I would say lecture only give you about 50% of the information. 50%, not more than that. So that's why you don't rely on my lecture only. Even though I gave you the YouTube channel whatsoever, do not rely on that. Alright guys, that's all for today. Happy fasting. So see you guys on ni activity pun nantilah kita buat. See you guys on Thursday. So until then, bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome class please. Yes. Mana nak stop? Stop recording. Stop recording.